This video features high-end, limited edition collectibles and is intended for adult collectors.
Hi guys, this is Toy Chat, this is Sang,
and Max.
And we're on to our podcast version of the Integrity Toys Stilettos Out convention coverage. In this podcast, we are going to be doing the haul video, and we're going to be talking about all the dolls we have in person, our impressions of them now that we actually have ours in hand. And we'll let you know which one we got to.
Yes, so we have already shared our vlog video. So if you want to see live footage from inside the con itself, definitely go check that out. And we did also post a two-parter, it ended up being a two-parter, discussion video of all of our thoughts on the convention, our thoughts on the food, location, events, initial thoughts on the dolls, all of that. So if you want to go watch the vlog or the discussions, we will link that in the description. Definitely go check it out. This is strictly the haul. So this discussion is going to be strictly about the dolls. We have 100% of our dolls on hand. I mean, obviously we shared a lot of our initial thoughts on the dolls already in the previous discussion videos, but in this video, we're going to be letting you all know which ones we actually purchased. We are going to be giving kind of more in-depth information, like more of the real-world fashion inspirations, different things we may have learned about the dolls after the fact and after actually having them on hand, kind of discussing like a post-mortem in a sense of like how the community received them, how they are in person. We're definitely going to be sharing lots of footage, like up-close footage of the dolls and stuff like that. Some a little more closely than others. We did open a few, but we have not opened all of them. So some we are just going to be showing in box. But yeah, this will be kind of like a mini review of all of the dolls. This is most likely also going to be a two-parter, in which case this part one, we are going to be going over the convention collection and style lab, and then in part two, a separate video to come, we'll be doing our haul of these centerpieces and giveaways, as well as just other goodies we bought at con. So this is not technically a podcast discussion video, but this video is going to be presented like podcast style.
Because we're not on screen.
Yes, so it's just going to be like a voiceover, because we kind of just want the focus to be on like the footage of the dolls and giving you guys a nice good look at the dolls. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump straight in. Okay, so we are going to talk briefly about the Stilettos Out packaging. Of course, there is unique convention packaging. So this is, I guess, what would be considered like the core packaging that's used for both the convention collection and the centerpieces. The Style Lab and giveaway dolls do use separate packaging. Overall, I like it. It has the Stilettos Out logo over the top. It's kind of like a glossy fire truck red box with a bunch of red stiletto heels printed across the front.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes sense with the name, but not with the spy theme.
I mean, of course, I'm sure the intent here was for the stilettos to stand in for like a weapon, essentially.
Yeah.
And it says, yeah, official convention souvenir. You have the IT logo, all of that. And when you actually open the box, on the interior, on the inside of the lid, there is this really cool graphic of it totally looks like a spy movie, like when you're, like we were watching the like a digital map and like a high.
It reminds me of when Professor Xavier uses Cerebro.
It is totally Cerebro, yeah. And then of course we do have the like a black insert inside and the accessory compartment. It mirrors the design of the outer box.
Mm-hmm. One thing that Elaine did mention, and we did notice, is like the acrylic stand base is a little bit smaller than like the standard IT acrylic base. So they're a little smaller, but they work. I definitely appreciate when they're acrylic and they have a nice weight to them, because there were a couple years where they used like kind of like the plastic hollow bases, which doesn't really work for us. One thing I kind of am sad about is that the Style Lab did not come with stands, or they didn't have the option to purchase.
No, and I mean, that's not necessarily unusual, but yeah, they didn't even sell like stand packs or anything like that.
They've done it in the past, so it's kind of weird they didn't do that this time.
Yeah, so that's a little unfortunate. And of course, we have to start with the welcome doll.
So the welcome doll was Cryptic Cases Imogen Lennox as Donna Drake, a true crime podcaster and blogger, which is interesting because both podcaster and blogger, that terminology didn't start appearing to like the double O's. And, you know,
Yeah.
she started her case in, like, the 50s.
Yeah.
Whatever. So she was a welcome doll. So, of course, we seen her just packaged by herself in her lingerie. Again, this was designed by Hélène Tremblay. And so when we received her, she was in a huge package and it was just a doll. And then the individual compartments were packaged separately as if, you know, we were to receive them at the convention. So we had to put her together. So one odd thing was she was listed as New Fantasy, which, you know, Imogen is usually part of the NU.Face line. And I think that's just probably because she's playing a character, so she's like an imaginary character, and she's not playing Imogen.
I guess that is the reasoning.
Yeah. And then one interesting fact that once people got her in hand, collectors were surprised to find out that she has a brand new breastplate, which is completely unique to her. Some people did a comparison with like the older or the current NU.Face breasts, which is smaller. They're a little like, you know, mosquito bite boobs for models. This one's more fuller, more natural. They're smaller than FR, and they don't fit within other brands. So these are new.
Yeah, and that was kind of interesting because IT did not mention anything about that at the con. And I feel like that would have been a thing to highlight, especially because IT collectors redress their dolls so much.
So IT did respond to this in the last update, and they said it is a new breastplate that Jessie will be talking more about in the future. And I know during one of the events, Jessie talked about how NU.Face is going to be transitioning to a different location, so maybe that'll play into that storyline.
He was saying a new agency,
yeah,
too, wasn't he saying, like a new location, new agency, so that'll be very interesting. Yeah, I mean, obviously we already saw the display Imogen at the event. I do have to say, like, owning her on hand and getting, like, a really close look at her, she does have a really beautiful face, but the remainder of my thoughts on her are the same.
Yeah, it seems like she definitely has dipped down in, like, interest after people received her. Do with that information as you will. And then let's move on to her accessory set A, which was the little body wrap jacket piece, as well as, you know, accessories with like a glow-in-the-dark wrench. My impression of it is still the same. It's a really cute jacket, but it's not something I necessarily need to have or own. I do love the heels. They're clear heels, which is kind of like a running theme for all the dolls that Elaine designed. They all have clear heels, and I think that kind of harkens to the clear limbs that later on we see with Annika.
And then we have accessory set B, which, yeah, we did already talk about as well. Yeah, there's a scarf with a map of London, you know, kind of ties into the story, the theme. Again, I think that's something that you would have to have explained to you for that to really make sense.
A lot of these dolls, that you definitely grow more attached to them with like the story and how they play into the event. Yeah, her outfit reminds me personally of like the Charlie's Angels, like the Cameron Diaz films. Kind of more like little sexy agent.
What we'll also do in this video, by the way, too, is we'll kind of have like a buyer pass, basically, like for both Sang and myself, respectively. Like, did we buy it or did we pass on it?
It doesn't apply with this because we received this. Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to say off the bat, of course, neither of us said no to anything that came with the cost of entry. So, like, basically, yeah. So, you know, the welcome doll, giveaway dolls, Sang and I, of course, took all of those. So we're just going to move straight on to the next doll, and this is the first doll in the convention collection, Lethal Rose Vanessa Perrin.
Yeah, so she was $180, and of course this is the Vanessa 1.0 sculpt. It's inside kiss skin tone with espresso brunette hair. As we mentioned in the past, she has kind of a classic retro screening that they haven't produced or made in a while. Definitely you can tell that it is something that's kind of older with the way the eyes are. Mine is kind of wonky. Max passed on her, but I bought her because I love the outfit.
Yes. She was my first pass. Mm-hmm. The reason I passed on her is, again, I love the outfit because I was not a fan of the doll because of her screening. The wall-eyed screening was not clicking with me, and I couldn't justify it with her price because of that. Just she was so expensive. So
yeah, I mean, I love everything but her eyes. I think I love her lips and the hairstyle. Yeah, definitely. My reasoning was I was going to like cover her eyes with sunglasses or like repaint her or something.
If you just cover that up,
yeah, she's gorgeous. I love the deep red lips.
Oh yeah,
yeah, she's very pretty. So a lot of these inspirations, fashion inspirations, we were able to locate, or we had resources from the W Club. There's a fashion inspiration thread on there that's very useful. People, gather everything they could find. So this dress was a recreation of a Robert One Spring 2024 outfit, and it's a pretty good recreation of it. Definitely, I think it's a very unique skirt on it. It's very recognizable. It's, like we talked about, it's like a blazer that's made into a skirt.
Yeah, the skirt is really cool. It would have been really interesting if the original design were mimicked entirely and that like umbrella headpiece were included.
And like the sleeves. Like
that would have been really interesting. I think that would have maybe been a little bold for adult collectors. As we mentioned in previous videos, she does have rose accents on her shoes, and she comes with a corsage that you can place.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really see the roses on the shoes, well, underneath the skirt portion, but I think it's really cool. The strings on it is like this really shiny string, and of course the selling point for this is the knife, the dagger, and the binoculars.
Her accessories.
Yes. Yeah, really nice.
For sure. So next we have La Sombra Alejandra Luna, and she was $175, and she was a buy for both Sang and myself. Honestly, this Alejandra is going to, from the sound of it, I think maybe turn out to be one of the most popular dolls of the convention. She was very well received by the community. It seemed like a lot of people loved her. I feel like Alejandra is kind of growing to be a really popular character in general.
Yeah. So she has a new screening and also the new blush skin tone that we have seen a couple times. We talked about her hair color being lavender, that kind of shift towards more warm tone. So she has kind of like a cowboy dominatrix aesthetic, which the people on the forum were able to find the inspiration for, and I don't know how to pronounce it. It sounds like Russian or German.
Okay, yeah, it's either Bokchava or Bokuchava. Spring, summer 2023. Oh, totally. Yeah, it's like exactly the same.
Yeah.
Well, the jacket anyway is it's extremely similar. Yeah, I mean, she's really cool. Again, it's clearly, I think she's going to end up being, I think, one of the grails from this convention. Which again, like I said in previous videos, it's like at least one of Jessie's bold designs tends to be, high risk, high reward. And in the case of reward, they become like London Show Naja and stuff like that. They become huge grails. So next steps, we're diving into the poppies. We have Gold Season Poppy Parker, who is $165 in the FR Black skin tone. And in the previous videos, we did already discuss, we kind of touched on the situation with her lips. It looks like she has a nude, lip tone that I personally didn't love because I feel like it doesn't match the rest of this, flashy New Year's Eve-ish look. But another problem we noticed when we received her is that it seems like a lot of people, I guess it's intentional, the screening, it's overdrawn, intentionally overdrawn lips. That's just the screening.
Yeah, so it's definitely painted on past her natural lip shape, which is fine, but I think the way this one in particular I've noticed is it's past the crease of the lips. So it looks like she just ate a big old caramel ice cream or something.
Yeah, and I mean, I know, of course, overdrawing the lips is very common.
Yeah.
I would say severely overdrawing your lips leans draggy, drag makeup from my personal perspective. But I think just having a nude lip color like this, and just of course the style of application in a doll scale, her lips are a little problematic.
I think she would look fine, or if it was overdrawn on the Cupid's bow and the under lip, but it's overdrawn on the sides of the lips, so it looks like she's a clown makeup. Yeah, it looks like...
something just looks off about it in person. I was really tempted, to be really honest. I'm like, I kind of just want to wipe this off and get it repainted.
I did that with mine.
To be honest. Yeah, so I don't love that. But of course, As we discussed previously, the rest of her is lovely. The Lady Luck screening is lovely. Her coat is amazing. I love her coat so much.
I noticed like in person when we get a closer look, like the sequins on her coat is kind of like a clear, translucent, like with a hint of like red and yellow on it. So it's not gold sequins. It's kind of like it's subtle. It's very subtle, and it works for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, something really cool that I noticed when I was kind of taking out her accessories, it's shaped like a disco ball, but it doesn't actually have the refraction and pattern of a disco ball. Her spherical bag has a magnetic closure, which is cool.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. You can kind of like open and close it with, a magnet.
And it's bedazzled too.
The little bedazzled letter P for Poppy is really pretty, very eye-catching. So I'm a fan of the bag.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like, she's not completely gold dipped, but like there's a lot of gold accents featured in everything about her, which is nice. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Saying I don't say no to Poppy.
No.
So we bought her.
Yes.
Yeah. And on the note of Poppy, next up we have Swiss Miss Behave Poppy Parker, who was $165.
Yep, and in the Japanese skin tone with silver blonde hair, which is styled in a beautiful Swiss buns, braid buns. Definitely will show a picture of what it looks like from the back. So I don't think anyone has shown their hair too much. It was kind of hard in that room. So she has a Spicy in Spain screening, which is kind of rare. They don't really do that anymore. It's very beautiful. It's one of my favorite screenings. I think personally, I love like kind of the icy look. I think in person, her eyes are a tad too light blue. It almost like disappears and kind of looks unnatural.
Like she's wearing contacts.
Yeah, I wish it was slightly
yeah.
darker, but I love the screening. The super icy blue makes her look more vacant than I don't think the intention was. Because like we've seen this screening in darker eyes, like the Red Riding Hood Poppy.
Through the Woods.
Through the Woods, yeah.
Through the Woods Poppy,
yeah. And it looks great. The icy blue is a little bit of a interesting choice, but it fits her because she's so like icy cold.
She is definitely a bit similar to Tokyo Twilight Poppy, who also coincidentally was a Poppy that sang Loved, and I did not. I mean, again, largely a combination of the outfit. This one specifically with Swiss Miss, we both bought her. She's Poppy.
Yeah.
We bought her. I will say the doll herself is very beautiful. And the outfit is a lot of white and very lab coat, as we said previously. Yeah, she's kind of giving like scientist.
She does. Her accessories, they look like the same accessories with Chiller Thriller. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. They are quite similar. So, moving on to our first boy, we have Raven Tate Tanaka, who was $175. As we discussed previously, this is a really unique Tate, and really all of his previous releases were like grails, essentially, or they were very well received, very popular, and at this point in time, they're very expensive. This one is going to be really interesting seeing how he is received over time.
Yeah.
Because it feels like the community did not have the warmest of receptions to him. One of the concerns that we heard people kind of whispering off the bat was that he has a really big forehead.
Which I hoped wouldn't correct it in like the production. But it looks like it has not, and he has a huge IMAX forehead.
He does have a really huge forehead. So it definitely seems like the intention of his hairstyling was to kind of have like the back section kind of coiffed or like slicked back, and then to have like these shorter pieces, like bangs to kind of like swoosh over one side of his head, which I feel like if it's executed perfectly would look nice. But of course, with this kind of style, you're going to have manufacturing variation. And essentially what it seems has happened is that a majority of his head is like a rock of gel. And then you have these loose, zero product, like pieces that are kind of like hanging.
Like the very front is very short.
The thing is, I've noticed too, how they cut it varies doll to doll. Like Sang's, I feel like is really like short.
Yes, it was really
and
short.
mine is a little longer. The display one at Con I liked. It had kind of a nice like swooshy look to it. And again, if it were rooted just like a little like lower, I think it would have helped a lot. I still like him. I still think he's a very nice doll. What I will say is that his jacket like sheds. It's
Yeah, there's a lot of,
fraying,
like
loose
which
fabric.
I didn't notice, like with like the prototype, and and I don't know if it's something other collectors have noticed who has him, because I haven't seen anyone talk about like the fraying, but both ours have it.
Have a lot of like little loose stringy fabric and stuff, so that's a little bit concerning, but it is still a really aesthetically nice, like very sparkly outfit that looks really cool. It's also kind of cool too. The like undershirt, the shirt he's wearing underneath is like very slightly sheer. It has like a slight sheerness to it. So I feel like that's like gonna look nice just on its own.
I love his watch too. Like the face kind of has like a purple tinge to it. You really can't tell that from the pictures. And then of course he has 3 pairs of hands, which is really nice to see.
Yes. Yeah, his hands are really nice, and he has this cool he has a really nice pleather cummerbund, which is basically kind of like a
male corset.
A male corset, essentially. Yeah, I like him. He is not my favorite Tate. We both bought him. We did both buy him, but yeah, it seems like the IT community was
feeling him.
Not totally feeling him. But I feel like if you're already a fan of the character of Tate and stuff like that, this is a fun, unique Tate.
Next up is Agent Sugar North.
Constance Madsen.
Who's $165, so she was the cheapest doll there. Well, I guess she's
You always get bang for your buck with the East 59.
Yeah, she was the same price as Poppy, Japanese skin tone, honey blonde hair. Like we said before, her dress is stunningly crafted, tailored. The brocade is pretty. You can't really tell, but she has an exposed back. The fur part I thought was kind of like a fur jacket, but it's just like a fur wrap that wraps around her. There's no sleeves. I love that color. It's kind of like this off-white, grayish brown.
And I will say, seeing her, like her face up close, Constance is not my favorite character, but her face up close in this screening is really pretty.
The colors really pop, because she has these really vivid blue eyes, like piercing blue eyes, with like that candy apple red lips.
I passed on her. She ended up being a pass for me. I'm just not the world's biggest East 59th collector, and I needed to save money somewhere. But she is, she's pretty.
Yeah, I think overall, in general, people
sang about her.
Of course,
yes.
I bought
sang about her, yeah.
That's why she's in this video.
Yeah.
Like, overall, East 59th, it's kind of known for their bang for their buck.
Yeah.
I don't think she quite comes with, like, a lot of stuff. But what she does come with is pretty cool, with, like, the gun and, like, the cigarette holder.
In another line nowadays, this would be a deluxe doll with what but for East 59th. Yeah, East 59th tends to come with a lot.
I didn't realize the cigarette holder was kind of like tweezers. It's just 2 little pieces that stick out, and you stick the...
So she wears it like a ring, but it has the little...
the clip part.
The
clip part I thought was kind of just like a little C-shaped thing that you just put the cigarette in, but it's literally just like little 2 tweezer clips, and you just stick it in there, and it's kind of flimsy because the cigarette itself is pretty heavy. It's like a nice heavy cigarette piece. All
right, and so now we are heading towards the finale of the convention collection. This was the sales room exclusive Ritorno alla Vita Elise Jolie. She was $185, which in a sense, she has a lot of fabric. She is quite a bit of fabric.
But not much of anything else.
No.
Yeah.
she has a lot of fabric. But as we discussed previously too, she has a new, what seems to be a all new hairstyle.
Yeah, it looks like we haven't seen this before, but they're like little twists on top, and they kind of cascade down the back. Yeah, it's very old glamour look. It kind of fits the storyline.
She shares a screening with Divinely Luminous Elise from the Sacred Lotus collection.
Yeah, and I like the screening, and I actually have that doll. I purchased her later down the line. But, I didn't like Elise, so I didn't buy her, but I bought her secondhand, and I think she's great. The thing I really appreciate with this screening is, it elongates her eyes, which is usually really small and squinty. Same with her lips. Yeah, it makes her, more palatable to me. Yes, and it works here with this new Elise, too.
Something that's kind of interesting is she's packaged with her skirt on. So like the long elaborate train with like the big, you know, like art piece that we discussed previously, she's wearing it in the box.
Which is weird because normally like with like big coats and stuff like that, they package them separately in a little baggie.
Yeah, I have to be really honest. Just to give a general note here, there were several dolls in the collection, like Tate's jacket, Tula Belle's fur and everything, where they're packaged with it on.
Yeah.
And I noticed a lot of like creasing, like really, really noticeable creasing on that. I'm like, IT, if you're gonna pre-apply something, please pre-apply the tiny, horrible, obnoxious accessories and like earrings. Like, you don't need to pre-apply a little jacket or a dress or something like that. That I'm okay putting on, but yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't come with a lot of accessories either. It's just like a purse that we have seen before with earrings.
And some earrings, that's it.
And again, her shoes, they have like the clear heels as well.
So this Elise was another pass for me. I'm not an Elise person, as y'all know, and this one was just very expensive. And yes, of course, Sang bought her. Next, we have our belle of the ball, who is, despite popular misconceptions, she is not titled Drop Dead Gorgeous Tula Belle True. She is titled Dead Drop Gorgeous Tula Belle, which I did like vaguely remember that being verbally mentioned like once or twice during a panel. But when the name of this doll appeared on screen at con, as well as the initial email revealing her, it was listed as Drop Dead Gorgeous. But so there was some confusion there.
The email that was sent out to everyone says Drop Dead Gorgeous, which is, you know, a regular term, but dead drop is an actual term in like the spy world.
Like a spy term.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that makes sense why she's called Dead Drop Gorgeous.
She was $170, and as we talked about in the last videos, she was an edition size that was slightly smaller than the total convention.
500.
Yes. But she does have a really pretty bow. And also, we'll show her nice and close because I did open mine.
Mm-hmm. People either love the bow or hate the bow. I think some people feel that it's tacky, and some people like us who find it super adorable and super modern.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, and I said this kind of previously too, is like, I feel like this was one of the, like, cute, like, youthful, bubbly, like, aesthetics of the con. So I really like her. I do also have to say I am so happy. Her sequins are multicolored because when you like move her left and right, like in the light, it is gorgeous. And I think it makes a much better impression than if they were just like all the same color or if it were just all black or something. So I really appreciate them, you know, being multiple colors.
It's fun. It's like, it's not like, it sparkles.
Yes. I do love her fur coat. Mine, it's super creased because she was packaged with it.
You need to fluff it up.
She was packaged with it on.
Yeah. So the bow looks like it's the same fabric that's on Tokyo Twilight's dress, like the fabric on that dress. You know, it seems like Tokyo Twilight was on David's mind during this convention. But yeah, it's kind of fun. She also has spike heels, which looks very similar to $1 Billion Baddie's Alejandra's shoes. It's very similar,
really
but I know all of Alejandra's heels, there's spikes on the back heel as well.
Quote unquote a partial reprint, because it's basically like that the piece in the front is they recreated it.
Yeah, it's a pattern they have already.
She has a brass knuckle purse, which is really cool, and there are photos that show her holding it. And I'm under the impression those folks who photographed that must have done some finagling and bending of her fingers, because when I personally tried all of her hand sculpts, I tried to like just easily slide it in. It was not an easy fit for any of them. So I think you would have to like jostle her fingers slightly to actually get all 4 of her fingers into all of those brass knuckles.
Yes, and speaking of the brass knuckles, the purse is actually based on a Alexander McQueen's purse as well.
Obviously, we both bought her. We love her. She's like one of our favorite dolls in the convention. Actually, Sang said it was your favorite doll of the con.
Yeah, I really love her. She gives, girl we must not name a Barbie. It gives very Barbie, and I do love like the blonde hair that doesn't have blue eyes. She has beautiful warm tone brown eyes. So she looks very cute, and she's kind of like tan. So
she's lovely. We're a big fan. So next we have the only fashion pack that was not a Style Lab fashion pack at the convention. Crack the Code Poppy Parker fashion pack. This was an edition size of only 300, so it sold out at the con pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, same day.
Yes, and it was $75.
Like, we don't usually have fashion packs that's outside the Style Lab at convention, so it was kind of a surprise that this was included. But it is nice. It's a nice welcome addition, something that they can produce fairly small edition sizes of, and, people will still buy it.
She has a Dickie collar style shirt, and she does have a cute camera accessory, which, I had mentioned was one of my favorite thing about this pack. Sang bought it. I did not. I didn't really try. And then I found out she sold out, and I was like, okay, that's fine. It's cool. It's a bit simple for my taste.
It's simple. I think it's also doesn't come with too much stuff, but the coat is really nice. It has like a texture to it. We'll show it here. It kind of like shines a bit like with tinsel almost.
All right, so from here, we are going to start talking about the Style Lab. So as we mentioned previously, the Style Lab, it's titled officially the NU.Face 7. Basically, they're like a heist crew. Again, if you want all the details on, reasoning behind the design, storyline, and all that, check out the blog and the discussion videos. But the nude dolls were priced at $65 each, and the fashion packs were priced at $85 each. If you want to, you can mix and match dolls and fashion packs, but we're going to present them here as the nude doll with their quote-unquote suggested fashion pack. We were pleasantly surprised to find out the dolls do come with multiple legs, with both flat feet and the high-heeled feet. I wasn't expecting that.
Maybe we should have read the emails, but they did list them on there. But it was in fine print in the thing. But yeah, the girls came with both pairs of legs. The boys, of course, they just have one pair. But yeah, it was pretty cool that was kind of a thing, because a lot of times some of these dolls are made in new skin tones, so it's hard to get pairs of legs that will fit redressing. But yeah, that was really cool.
So once again, of course, this year, there was still a Build-A-Doll, and the nude dolls came with a piece of Build-A-Doll Violane's fashion and accessories, as where the fashion packs included Build-A-Doll parts of Violane's body. So essentially, there were little compartments where you open the bottom and there's little pieces, and then you have to assemble the Build-A-Doll yourself. We'll circle back to her in a bit because we did buy the full Style Lab. Saying out the gate, we bought the full Style Lab, so we of course do each have the Build-A-Doll. We're going to be talking about the Build-A-Doll. The Style Lab packaging is pretty cool. I mean, as always, with the Style Lab and stuff, they have thin, fragile, boxes.
Yeah. I mean, the package is kind of cool. The front has a window display with a cracked screen look to it. The very top has a vault door on it, so when you peel it open, that's kind of cool. And the back of the box is kind of little safety deposit box imagery on them in the back.
Yeah, and I've been seeing a lot of people use these boxes as photography backdrops, because
they
do have a really cool texture and pattern to them that I think contributes to the heist theme.
Yes. My only critique, and this is just me because I'm a prude, I think the window display is a little too large for nude dolls. So you definitely see everything.
Yes.
I think they should have done what they did with the first Poppy Parker Style Lab, where it's just
the head peeking through. Yeah.
And you know what? That one could have used a full-on window display. They came with little, swimsuits. These dolls are full-on showing all their goodies.
This is probably way too much to ask, but I was if they were going to go that route, it would have been cool if it matched the promo pictures where they're like their mugshot where they're holding the little the other thing in front of their chest or whatever.
Yeah. But this one, the window display is so big that you can see the boys' little body parts too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we'll jump straight in to number one nude doll, Lucas Maverick. The name of the fashion he's wearing is Gentle gentleman thief.
He's called the mastermind. On the little like bookmark piece, all of the members have like a
rolls.
Rolls.
Yeah, the mastermind. In one of the previous videos, we did talk about it having an inspiration. It's based on an Alexander McQueen blazer.
Yeah,
kind
blazer
of
suit.
that's structured really similarly, where it's sort of like open back and it's like kind of revealing and very, very cool male fashion. I would say this IT version shows even more like chest.
Well,
like,
he has big pecs.
He does, yes. I love this doll. I think he's so cool.
I mean, Lucas is very handsome.
He is very handsome. What I will say, I like his flocked hair that we've talked about. It's like a very interesting color. It's like a powdery, almost like greenish leaning gray.
Yeah.
But I have concerns about flocking on these dolls because almost every flocked hair doll I've had in recent history, ranging from Tate to this Lucas to the Naja we'll be discussing later, there's always an imperfect hairline. Like every single time you'll find like a little issue somewhere. My Lucas is okay, but I have a lot of worries about that with flocked hair dolls. I am a huge fan of what I mentioned before, like it looks like almost like Wolverine claw hands. His hands with like the jewels on them are sick. They're really, really cool. They look amazing. Getting them on was a bit of a nightmare because I don't know what was going on. I don't know if maybe potentially the material or paint or whatever on it maybe made them like thicker than like his standard hands. I had a really hard time getting those hands into his wrist opening.
So like the peg.
Yes, and so unfortunately on one of the hands the jewel piece came off because of course it's just glued on, which is like, I knew it was gonna happen. I was super annoyed. So that was frustrating. I'm gonna say be very, very careful if you're handling those and if you haven't applied them yet. I feel like the safest way to do it is hold on to just the fingers and then like don't touch the jewel
on the sides of his hands
or the side. It's
jam it in there. These pegs vary in quality as well because there's some like I had a Poppy Parker glove hands where like they want me to stay in the peg on that particular doll, but I was able to put those glove hands on a different Poppy Parker body and it fits perfectly fine. So it could just be a matter of just the mold they use. Yeah,
I mean, again, just using this as an opportunity to reshare a general grievance I've had with IT for a very long time. A lot of like these hyper delicate accessories that you also like have to use force in many cases to like get on and deal with is very frustrating. I feel like these hands specifically are not like an ideal example. I would say more so probably in the case of like earrings and stuff like that, because actually in relation to this Lucas, one of his earrings, I was trying to put the earrings in and then a tiny piece got stuck, and I'm like, if IT is going to put them in the boxes with their jackets and everything on that can get like creased and stuff, I'm like, can you just put their jewelry on? I'm like, I don't want to put the jewelry on myself, like particularly the earrings, especially sometimes.
I think the earrings can be put on fine. I think Barbie does that.
Yeah.
I think necklace is a whole other story because like they kind of needs like the hook part and that can kind of just flop around.
Yeah, I guess they're worried about it becoming loose or something, but I would just say it's just a general sentiment that if there's anything IT can do to make the dressing and assembling of their dolls like slightly less nightmarish, like I would really appreciate it. Even if it is, I understand IT really, really values like hyper realism, so like they want accessories and stuff scaled down to look like the life size versions, but anywhere where it can be magnetic closures or like something easier, more practical that you can tuck behind the neck or whatever, that's not an eyesore, or anything like that, it's like I'd appreciate it. Assembling and dressing these dolls is horrible for me way too often, so it's kind of hard to tell when he's fully dressed, but the pants, there's like an opening, particularly where when he's wearing it and his the blazer is not closed. It's almost like it's a belt-like strap it kind of reveals like an opening to his V-line, kind of like his lower abdomen. So it's kind of like a fun little like sexy piece, but it's completely not visible at all when you have his blazer closed.
Yeah, you wouldn't have noticed.
No, but that was kind of an interesting little detail. His umbrella is the coolest thing I have ever seen. It's so adorable.
Oh, so cute.
I have it with me. Yeah, we're like looking at it right now. It is so cute. It's like super, it's like sturdy. It's like really high quality and like
it's
sturdy.
kind of like a miniature version of what
literally legit, like real umbrella. You literally like put the canopy or whatever up, and like there's a little like notch to like keep it. So I mean, that's amazing. That's a really, really great accessory.
Yeah. So his fashion has those little like shiny stripes on them, like the. It reminds me of
Nicole Kidman in her iconic AMC outfit.
Yes, that's the same
yes.
stripes, yes.
No, I totally agree. I also said I made the joke in the vlog, the penguin if he slayed. Like it is like he does almost look like a yassified penguin is what he's sort of, and
his name.
He's the mastermind, too. So I think he's really cool. I love him. So next we have number 2, Erin Salston, wearing the Precious Gems fashion pack, her suggested fashion pack.
So this is Erin Salston, the right-hand woman.
Yes.
Number 2.
So I have to assume then that means she works with Lucas. Probably. She was displayed with Lucas at the con. She was displayed with Lucas. You know, we already talked about this Erin being stunning, and she is. She might be my favorite doll of the convention. We did talk about how like her screening is gorgeous, but it gives her a little bit of like
a winking face,
a squinty-eyed like winky face that can is at certain angles give you perception of like slight wonk or like
and obviously it also, because her eyes are so small, the way that the eyelashes are applied could even amplify kind of that eye wonk. So she has a similar screening to Your Motivation Erin, but it looks like it's like a new eyebrow. It looks like they're raised up further than the other screening with this face up.
One other thing I noticed is even though I love her hairstyle, the little curly tendrils on the sides of her face are kind of all over the place. I had to like tuck them behind her earrings to keep them where I wanted them to be. But I love her. She's so beautiful and coquettish and girly. Her jewelry is stunning. I mean, it's so pretty. Like up close, it's really, really pretty. I love her necklace, her little heart ring. I'm pretty sure we've seen that heart ring before, but the gemstone print may have been inspired by Moschino, worn by Leighton Meester. Was that in Gossip Girl?
Yeah, it was in Gossip Girl.
Gossip Girl? Okay.
And then, the actual dress itself is based on Versace Fall Winter 2023 look 60 in particular, if you look on their website. And definitely has the same. It's a very unique pattern, like the way that the top kind of has like a upside down U shape, then like the puff on the side. It's a very unique like. Cut.
It's almost like a half bubble dress kind of. But it almost looks like a bow kind of too from certain angles. It's so pretty. I really like it. I will say, I was talking to Sang about this. Y'all in the IT community can tell me what you do with dresses like this, but this dress has plastic straps that are tapped like one.
They're like fish, like string, like fish liner.
One that goes around the neck and one that goes around the back. So basically, if you want to preserve those, you need to take the doll apart. Like you have to kind of take the arms off and all that, which was what I did. Sang and I talked about it, and he mentioned that a lot of people just like cut those off, which I know that's an option. But I'm like I feel like dresses like this, I mean, I guess IT outfits are kind of form-fitting, but
yeah, they're meant to keep the dress up during packaging, like moving around. But
it's
when
not
people
totally
display them,
necessary
they usually cut them off. It's like those clear straps people wear sometimes. But
and then her little the little shawl thing she wears, it closes with one single hook loop closure in the back.
Yeah, I mean all her little jewelry pieces, she comes with a lot.
And she has a really cute little clutch with like a little butterfly sculpt that we talked about. We think it's like a reprint, or we've seen it before. So we previously saw this clutch sculpt with Maison FR's Siren Silhouette Corinne, who we reviewed, but Erin's version has a flocked-like texture. And of course, we already talked about her amazing, the substance, if it was darker, heels. Her heels are amazing. So yeah, Erin is gorge. Huge fan. Special thanks to Galactic Cat on the W Club forums for tracking down the inspiration for these. They are based on Dolce & Gabbana heels. So number 3 is Naja Rhymes, and she has the Diamond Deception fashion pack. So her role in the heist crew is the distraction.
Probably because she has such a loud outfit on. A very distracting outfit. So this is another Naja in the Nubian skin tone, which is like a very common skin tone for her, and she has flock black hair. You know, you couldn't really see in person or in our vlog footage and the promo images, but her screening is very unique. She has like a bluish purple eyeshadow, and her eyes, you know, may look blue, but they're kind of purple in person.
Yeah, she's really beautiful. Like I mentioned previously with Lucas, even though I love to see dolls with flocked hair and like with really short hairstyles, the practicality and like the manufacturing variation of flocking gives me pause a lot of the time, but she is very pretty, and this Naja did seem to be very well received as well. I think she was really popular. She is totally giving Electra from Pose, and her jumpsuit has a zipper closure,
which is really nice. And her jumper, we found out, was inspired by I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm just gonna try. Laquan Smith Fall Winter 2023 stretch suede catsuit. Yeah, it looks almost identical, even with like the jewelry piece that's hanging.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fur coat is so. I love the new fur that they've been using. It's very soft.
Yeah.
It's very like to scale. And people were saying that she kind of looks like Grace Jones, the singer.
So number 4 is Colette Duringer, and her suggested fashion is Wild Rush, and she is the wild card.
And she was a wild card. I mean, people weren't expecting Colette 1.0, so.
Yeah, she was a surprise to see. She's in the sun-kissed skin tone. Her hair is sandy blonde, and yeah, Colette 1.0 again is a polarizing sculpt. You know, her more recent iterations overall were better received. I can say, even though technically we did both buy the full style lab, I sold this Colette to a friend. So I guess she's a buy but a pass to me.
Yeah.
She is pretty. I'm not the biggest Colette 1.0 fan in the world. I do think she's a little cartoony looking. I mean, I own a Colette 1.0. I have Supernova Colette 1.0.
Yep.
Her purple cowboy hat is really cool. And yeah, also, yeah, as we've said, the outfit has more like a twinkle up close in person.
Yeah, it shifts from like blue to gold, which is kind of interesting.
And the outfit, even though, you know, we had mentioned that this doll and the outfit remind us a lot of like Beyonce, apparently the outfit is most likely inspired by Elsa Hosk, a custom Miu Miu outfit worn for the British Fashion Awards in 2022.
There's some really cool accessories. It comes with a lot of jewelry, which I really appreciate. And then I love the addition of like the little keys on her little, I don't know, you call that like a belt chain?
Oh, a waist chain.
Yeah, waist
like
chain.
A waist chain. She does have a cool waist chain, yes. Next we have Sang's fave.
Yes, number 5, Ayumi Nakamura, the mole. Her fashion pack is Inside Info. So she's the inside mole. So she's in the cream skin tone with auburn hair. She's very Asian, which I really appreciate, you know, with, you know, neutral hair color and brown eyes. And she looks so darling. She's so cute.
I do have to say, this Ayumi, like the doll, she's really pretty. And I was talking to Sang the other day, I was like, especially Ayumi 3.0. Ayumi 3.0 has not had very many releases, like, in general, like, across the board. And when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, wow, there have not been that many Ayumis. Yeah. She's very unique. It is really nice to see this one and her like auburn hair and her kind of like a soft screening. We talked about how she looks very like, she's giving like cozy nerdy. To me, she's almost giving like, well, I guess maybe not so much hacker as like
that's what I initially thought, like hacker.
Or a more like studious spy or something. The clothes are not my total favorite. I think specifically her coat. I feel like the coat is totally like love it or hate it. It's very colorful. I do really like the texture.
Love it. I'm on the love it side.
Yes. I mean, I don't hate it, but it's very like, it's really giving vintage to me. It's very, very like vintagey feeling, like lots and lots of colors coat. It is really funny to pair that coat, which to me feels like a more conservative piece of clothing, with a dress that stops at her upper thigh. It is, I do think
it's
it is
short.
Yes, so it's funny to kind of combine those two, because I think if you completely remove the coat, she's wearing a very sexy outfit. And I do really like the dress. The dress is gorgeous. It's almost, it's like a salmon. I like the construction of it, and it's a very good recreation of a Versace fall winter 2022 dress mix.
Yeah, it looks like the top of the dress borrows from a different dress, while like the full dress itself is from another fashion piece. I love the coat. I think it's very fun. Like Max said, it does give a very vintage look to it, and I love that. There's just so many different colors on it. It's just so fun. And then a viewer pointed out that it reminds them of Wonder Bread, which I see. Yes. It's kind of like the neutral, all like the primary colors.
Yes.
But it's cute. I think I would be interested to see if it will fit like an it's a very oversized coat.
It is very oversized.
Yeah.
The outfit is a little kitchen sink for me. It's kind of like yellow headband, peach glasses, and like very sexy dress, and then oversized vintage, like,
it's like one of those movies where like the nerd becomes the hot popular girl by taking off her glasses and her big oversized sweater, and she becomes hot all of a sudden.
I could see like Sharpay Evans or something like being into this. So moving on to the actual hacker, I guess this is like an early 2000s hacker. Number 6, Tiago Valente. Tiago's great. He has such a pretty face. And he is the hacker. He's almost giving like Matrix, the Matrix. He's very like early 2000s. His aesthetic is kind of giving that, like Y2K-ish.
Yeah. I love his hair. So one thing I did notice, because I know in the past, Anique from the Counterculture had braided hair, and I know IT mentioned that she has a differend head, like because
it's like softer. We reviewed her.
Yeah, it was softer, but here it looks like the braids were hand braided. They're hand braided twists.
Braided twists. He has twisted braids.
The reason why I think they're hand braided is because the ends are tied with string. So they're not machine like made. Maybe they're machine braided, but they look like they're twisted and tied.
Yes, I love his hair. I think it's amazing to see variations of like hairstyles and hair textures, and on this case, of course, like on an A-tone, male doll. Tiago is beautiful as always, and this one has facial hair. He has a beard.
Personally, I don't like beards on dolls, so I don't love it, but it's cute. I mean, it's subtle enough. It's not like a full beard. It's like a goatee with a mustache.
I would love beards on dolls in theory, but I think the problem is it's something you need to see from afar, because if you look too close, it looks very drawn on. So I think it contributes to a cartoony
there's not a lot of variation to like the line work, and there's just like chunks of color.
I think to make it look realistic, you'd have to have pretty intricate like a lot of airbrushing or a lot of line work, which is a lot of work and all that. But he is very cool. His fashion, it's like he has the cool little convertible pants that can turn into shorts. He has the really cool latexy gloves.
I think the big selling point for me was his bag. It has a lot of like little pockets. Very intricate. The
bag is really cool.
Crafted,
the bag is very cool. I am standing by the fact I feel like a jacket or something would have been a phenomenal finishing touch on this doll. But he is really cool. Tiago just has such a pretty face. I love Tiago's face sculpted. It's very nice to see him as an A-tone doll with like an awesome hairstyle. Oh, hi, Poppy. Number 7, Reina Amadi, and she is the Searcher, and she looks like she's disguised as Poppy.
And that works for her. So she's a blush skin tone, platinum blonde hair, very poppy, very twiggy. She shares the same screening with Wild Feeling and MVP Reina. So it's like a bit more like it fits along the line with the bigger eyes, like, you know, big eyes poppy. Very versatile Reina. I think this is one of the lightest skin tones I think we've seen a Reina in.
And her screening is stunning. I mean, she does look so much like Poppy Parker, but I like really spending some time with this doll up close. I was like, oh my God, is this one of my favorite dolls of the convention? I was like, granted, I'm really coming to learn about myself that I love Reina. I think just the character of Reina, longtime watchers will know. I do really like Reina. This Reina is so gorgeous. And even just the screening, like I would say, not just the style of this, like the screening, but the colors Jessie chose, like for her eyeshadow and like her lips and everything.
It really shows that a combination of colors can really change up a look of a screening.
We talked about it gives her depth.
Yeah.
It's not like a flat doll, like kind of like it I was like, oh, this is like from certain angles it's like really realistic, like it's very just so beautiful, so model-esque. Her suggested fashion is scope out. Very, very mod, very 60s, so very poppy.
I think it's a very cute set of fashion pieces. Personally, I would not combine them all into one look like it's here. I think the Coca looked cute with something else underneath. I think all that fabric kind of becomes a big blob of color. I wished her hat was a different style, different pattern. But yeah, individual pieces, very cute. I love the skirt by itself with like the schoolgirl-esque top, like bun up. But all together, like the picture here is a little too much.
Her handbag is inspired by a Jacquemus Lesac Ronde bag. So, for the grand finale of the Style Lab, we have the Build-A-Doll Criminal Kitty Violaine Perrin, which, again, to fully assemble her, you have to purchase everything in the Style Lab.
Yeah, so we'll give you a list of which piece comes with which item.
So we'll show on screen here if you want like a visual guide of what pieces are in which doll and, you know, which fashion pack and which new doll. We will show that on screen here. So that's where everything was. So what we should mention, by the way, is that in addition to the Criminal Kitty Violaine Perrin Build-A-Doll, there was the Build an Accessory, which was like the translucent metal heart purse, which is of course intended to be paired with Annika Luxottica. As you know, part of the storyline, we explained it all in the vlog and discussion.
They just could come in this cute little like QR bag.
Little boxes. And I was wondering when I first opened, I was like, what is that? I was so confused what it is. Because all the pieces, the Build-A-Doll pieces come in like the packages, but the Build an Accessory were in the little boxes. They're very small and delicate, so don't lose anything. But there's a QR code on the box. You scan the QR code and then it will show you the instructions for actually assembling it, which we will show that on screen here as well. We can just talk about the Build an Accessory like now.
First, okay.
It's interesting. So it looks like a human heart with valves or whatever.
It's very
everything.
steampunk.
It is super steampunk. And of course, this is what the heist was. They were stealing the components and everything for this. And of course, Violaine being like the criminal kitty, I'm sure she was the one who got it all together. And,
So I think, it was really cool to build like the craftsmanship in terms of like adding all like the magnetic closure pieces, like they all snap in place.
So it's all magnetic.
Yeah. Minus the fingers, which I was going to mention. The fingers themselves, they just stick in, and I'm always a little concerned of them falling out. Because they didn't feel like they fit in perfectly.
There's one or two things here that I'm worried about falling off. Yeah, I would say overall this is a really delicate piece. I'd just be mindful of that.
And I love that it's like bejeweled with like all these little gems.
It is cool, yes.
Yeah, so it is pretty cool. I think definitely Elaine had a lot of fun building this.
Yes. Yeah, and it's clearly it's intended to be paired with Regenesis Dasha, and as Annika Luxottica, who we will be talking about later. But back to Criminal Kitty Violaine, the Build-A-Doll. So again, you have to assemble her yourself, which, as I said earlier, assembling and dressing IT dolls is a nightmare, and I commend.
For mess.
Well, I'm sure I'm not the only person on earth who thinks it's a huge pain in the ass.
But I built it.
To put this stuff together. Yes, she's wearing a gorgeous, like, mesh sequin bodysuit, which is a really cool, really unique fashion piece, I think, for an IT doll. It looked like putting it on would be a very delicate process.
It's a tight fit. The main portion that was a little difficult was the heel portion, like the shoes, because there are some that you have to kind of eyeball where, like, the foot goes inside, because there are some little clear plastic pieces to hold them in place.
I think with all this mesh too, I would be concerned about, like, snagging and
well,
all
I
this
mean, if it
different
snags
stuff,
because of all the sequins, you can't really see.
Hopefully can't notice. Yeah.
But she looks great in it.
She's so cool. Like, I am a really big fan. We are not the biggest Violaine fans, like, in the world, but and we talked about how we were really surprised that, like, this character was chosen to be the Build-A-Doll.
We always consider, like, the most popular character would be, like, the Build-A-Doll to, like, entice people. Like, we thought it would be, like, one of the twins, because the
twins did not appear at all in this convention.
Well, which means they'll appear somewhere else.
Yes.
I think a lot of people who didn't attend the convention were really pissed. But I'm glad Violaine got a moment to shine. This version is very gorgeous, very different from the other previous versions. I love her hair. I personally would have chosen someone else, just because, like Max said, we're not biggest fans of Violaine, but she's pretty. We
have noticed too that a lot of with like the wavy ponytail, this is the case with my Erin as well. Those ponytails are gorgeous. The display ones at Con looked gorgeous, but the production ones, the ones we have, they have a lot of, like, flyaways that on the hair, which is a little frustrating.
It's just because they're packaged with, like, the hairnets,
which is so ironic that the hairnet, like, can sometimes cause the opposite of what it's intended to do.
I'm sure it would have been worse if they didn't have a hairnet.
Probably,
yeah, because the head itself was just, like, flailing around the little compartment.
And the head, officially, Violaine's head was in wasn't it Erin's fashion pack, the Precious Gems fashion pack.
Which we also, talking about it, we thought it would have been in, like, the least
popular, like, one,
but,
or what they perceived to be, But she also has, the iconic arm bag. So it's also, like, it feels very high fashion, but it also is, like, a bag. She could put stuff she's stealing in there. I mean, granted, this is the least practical outfit to be wearing for if you're a thief, but
she wants to sparkle when she's
out there. I mean, you can totally tell, though, the vibe is very, it's like, again, you have a glamified a yassified penguin and a yassified, like, Catwoman. I mean, Catwoman is already pretty yassified, but as is. But the arm bag was inspired by Balenciaga Spring Summer 2023.
Yeah, the handbag, the original one has like a glove portion to it. This one doesn't. This one's just like a sleeve, which it makes sense. It's kind of hard to build that.
Yeah,
but yeah, she does come with, like, several pairs of hands. Like the glove hands are really cool because they're painted silver with some glitter overlay on top.
So they kind of look like claws. Yeah. And she is also wearing an asymmetrical
skirt.
Is this pleather?
No, it's fabric.
Fabric. Okay, the skirt is inspired by Brielle Noir asymmetric mini skirt. And it's super cute. And it has, like, a little gem on it.
It makes it a little bit more modest.
Yes. I really like this Build-A-Doll. Truth be told, yeah. It would have been kind of interesting if it did end up being a different character in this look.
Someone do a mock-up of this with, like, one of the twins in this.
I know, that would have been crazy. All right, so that concludes part 1 of our haul. We went over the convention collection and the style lab. In part 2, we will be discussing the centerpiece centerpiece and giveaway dolls. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But definitely let us know your thoughts on the convention collection and Style Lab dolls. And yeah, definitely, stick around. We'll finish this conversation in the haul in part 2. But make sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Our full Integrity Toys playlist will be linked on screen here. And we will see you next time.
Bye.